The cafe was dimly lit, the soft glow of fairy lights reflecting off the rain-soaked streets outside, but inside, Lily's heart felt even darker. She stared at the empty chair across from her, the one that had been promised to someone who might, just might, understand her. Tonight was a blind date, arranged by her best friend who swore that, "He's a good guy, you'll see." Yet, as she twirled her coffee cup nervously, a storm of doubt filled her mind. "No one wants to date me," she whispered to herself, her voice trembling, almost lost in the quiet hum of the cafe. Maybe she was right. Maybe this was just another evening destined for awkward silences and polite smiles, another reminder that she was invisible in a world that only seemed to celebrate confidence, beauty, and effortless charm. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, in the unexpected twists of fate, go ahead and like this video, comment below telling us where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. When he finally walked in, Lily's eyes instinctively tracked his every move. David was nothing like she expected. He carried himself with a quiet dignity, his eyes carrying a mixture of warmth and exhaustion, like someone who had faced battles life never prepared him for. There was a softness to his smile that didn't demand anything from anyone, yet welcomed everything, and Lily felt her chest tighten. David was a single dad, she soon learned, raising a lively 7-year-old daughter named Emma who was as fearless and candid as a little whirlwind. He didn't boast about his life, didn't parade his struggles or successes, he simply existed in that humble, honest way that made Lily feel seen. As the night unfolded, she confessed her deepest fear without realizing it. "No one wants to date me, mister," she said, her voice breaking halfway, her eyes wet with an emotion she had bottled for years. She had always felt like love was a luxury she could never afford, like her flaws were glaring neon signs everyone noticed but no one dared approach. She braced herself for a polite laugh, an awkward shrug, or worse, the silent judgment she knew she deserved. But David didn't flinch. He didn't look away. Instead, his hand reached for hers across the table in a gesture that spoke of patience and understanding, of shared vulnerability. He told her stories of sleepless nights and messy mornings, of scraped knees, homework crises, and the tiny victories that came from being a parent. But he didn't stop there. He spoke of loneliness, of missed chances, of the guilt and the joy intertwined in raising a child alone. Lily listened, and for the first time in what felt like forever, she realized she wasn't the only one carrying invisible burdens. And the more she listened, the more her walls began to crumble. David didn't just hear her, he validated her fears, laughed gently at her insecurities, and shared his own. And in that quiet, tender exchange, something extraordinary happened. Two hearts, both scarred and weary, began to recognize the possibility of trust, of connection, of a love that was patient enough to wait and strong enough to endure. Days turned into weeks. Their first dates were messy, filled with laughter, spilled coffee, and the occasional tears of frustration. But with every small moment, every story shared, every quiet walk, every dinner cooked together, they built something fragile yet resilient. Emma, cautious at first, slowly warmed to Lily, drawn to her gentle humor and the warmth in her eyes. One evening, as they sat on the living room floor building a wobbly tower of blocks, Lily realized she hadn't felt this light in years. The world, with all its chaos and unpredictability, suddenly felt like it had carved out a little space just for her. And she understood, with a clarity that made her heart ache, that sometimes, love doesn't arrive when you expect it, it arrives when you've survived enough to recognize it. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Old fears resurfaced, insecurities flared, and there were nights when Lily doubted herself, wondering if she was enough for David, enough for Emma, enough for the life that seemed to be slowly unfolding before her. Yet, each time doubt crept in, David's quiet confidence reminded her that love wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, even when it hurt. It was about holding on when the world tried to pull you apart. And little by little, Lily began to believe, not just in love, but in herself. She laughed again with abandon, cried without shame, and learned that being vulnerable didn't make her weak, it made her real. Then came the night that changed everything. David had planned a small surprise at the park, just the three of them. The sky was painted in the soft hues of sunset, the air crisp and fragrant with winter chill. Emma ran ahead, giggling as she clutched Lily's hand, and David watched them with a smile that held years of hardship, love, and hope. As Lily looked into his eyes, she felt the weight of her old fears lift. And in that perfect, ordinary moment, she whispered the words she had never dared to say aloud, "I'm ready to be loved." David's embrace was gentle but firm, and she felt the truth of it, that no one is truly alone, not if they're brave enough to let someone in. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it, and comment below with what moved you the most. Tell us your own story, and let's remind each other that kindness, courage, and love are always worth it. Lily's journey wasn't about finding a perfect person. It was about discovering that life's unexpected, messy, imperfect moments could lead to something beautiful if only we allow ourselves to believe. She learned that love isn't a transaction or a reward, it's a choice, every single day. And as she watched David lift Emma onto his shoulders, laughing under the golden light of the park, she realized that the fear of being unworthy, the endless nights of doubt, had been necessary. Because only by surviving those moments could she fully embrace this extraordinary, tender life that had finally found her.